Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is August the 29th. 2018, strong hand, offended by selling. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. Unconfiscatable. All right, this is your source for 20%er Bitcoin knowledge. All you 20%ers out there, this is where the big boys play. Check out the links below. Everything I talk about in this video is linked to below. My disruptmeister.com, the archives, get a Trezor, get t-shirts. Everything is below. Hoffman line strong for those of you who care about fiat. Okay, let's get it. Yesterday, how am I going to beat yesterday's show? You guys got to check that out. Charlie Lee was on the show. It's not about beating yesterday's show. It's about building on your previous show, just making the whole series better, getting hands stronger and stronger through every show. But yesterday's show with Charlie Lee, you've got to check out. It flew by. It was an hour. It is linked to below. We talked about the Litecoin Summit coming up in San Francisco on the 14th and 15th of September. We talked about some Litecoin and so much about Bitcoin because Charlie Lee is a Bitcoin guy. He really is. He came up with the Litecoin idea, but I mean, he knows strong hand Bitcoin, baby. He's a holder. He's not an impulsive man either. Not at all. Long-term thinker to the max. And, something that he brought up, and, he brought up, a lot of subjects that opened my mind. I was asking him about banks and eventually cryptocurrency organizations buying banks. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if Coinbase bought a bank. And, or Coinbase became a bank. You know what? That's putting it into some pretty basic terms there. And yeah, I not even thought about that really. I already think Coinbase is sort of a bank, but they really could go in that direction. Maybe that is what they're trying to do with all of this one day, buy a bank. So, for everyone that says, oh, I don't understand what Coinbase does. They're so irresponsible. They got a lot of money. So it will be interesting to see how that develops and just little topics like that. It opens your mind to the future. The future is quite unpredictable. In 2021, we'll look back on this and be like, oh, of course, crypto organizations bought banks. All the banks are owned by crypto. No. All right. So check out yesterday's show. It's always great to have Charlie on the show. I think it was his fourth time on the show, actually. So we're going to jump into another person who's been on the show before, Samson Mao. Samson Mao has the following tweet out there. Diversify, 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 question mark. That's the worst advice possible because cryptocurrencies are highly correlated. In my Block Festa talk, I showed how diversified portfolios perform over a year. If you just bought Bitcoin, you'd be up 54%, but losses increase as you diversify. So for all you Blockfolio people out there, I have ripped on that term before. I'm going to rip on it some more. You don't need a Blockfolio, okay? You don't need 100. The more of those you get, the less likely the performance goes down and down and down and down as you keep on buying into these 6th tier, 5th tier, 4th tier, 3rd tier. Just, it's all gambling basically. Bitcoin is not. It is the rock. He proves it again in his tweet, in his presentation. It is linked to. Thanks, Samson. All you people who are diversifying for the sake of diversification. Are you you're doing that because that's what you were told to do, taught to do? No, this is a new world here, okay? we're dealing with financial instruments. Well, one is definitely a financial instrument. That's Bitcoin. Then there's going to probably be a top tier of altcoins. The rest of them are complete jokes. And you want to diversify into that type of thing. Do you diversify into known Ponzi scheme? Well, yeah, I own Apple and I own some Microsoft, and I'm going to buy into 10 different Ponzi schemes that are in Nebraska. And no, you don't do that. Of course, only the cream of the crop. in terms of the diversification. But in Bitcoin, in crypto, there's only one cream of the crop. Venshin sends a joke, $5 in the super chat. But Adam, what about XRP, Adam? Isn't XRP awesome? We're going to talk about centralization in a second, Venshin MGTOW. By the way, Venshin MGTOW, you are such a legend. I was watching an old video of Stardust, like from 2015, and he mentions you. He's like, yes, Venshin is quite the survivalist. All right, back to the, yes, we do know Venshin takes his survivalist. You know, he likes that doom and gloom stuff. He's gotten better with it. You know, to each his own. Venshin owns Bitcoin, so he's not that much of a doom and gloomer, okay? Pound that freaking like button for Venshin MGTOW and all the MGTOWs watching this, all the MGTOWs who are in motion, not the ones who just sit and complain all day and don't get into Bitcoin and think Bitcoin is a government conspiracy, which is a completely ridiculous notion. And I don't associate with the people. You know, I just cut someone from my life. And some people have noticed this. I cut someone from my life who's a conspiracy theorist. I mean, it's a total ridiculous and posting stuff in my chat about ridiculous stuff. Cut him from the life because it doesn't matter if the person's promoting me or whatever. I've got standards. I'm not going to be with someone of that ilk, the person that I cut. But enough of that. Let's go. We're talking about old videos. We're talking about Stardust. Let's talk about an old Meister video that I dug up. It's actually in my archives, but it's hard to find. Since I'm in motion, I want to always be making more Bitcoin. I posted the first Bitcoin video I ever made back in December of 2013. And all of you Litecoin people will get a ramp because I actually mentioned Litecoin in it also for some reason. I was naive. I didn't know that much back then in December of 2013. I was almost using Bitcoin and Litecoin interchangeably, almost. And I had a little bit of a more dark persona then. I was like, well, what if the US dollar is no longer the world reserve currency? What if China gets the world reserve? No, I was wrong about that. The dollar will always be the world reserve currency. But if you did think back then that the dollar was going to lose its world reserve currency status, then you had no excuse to not buy Bitcoin then. And that's what my video was about in 2013. It is on my DLive account. I linked to it below. It's only like a little bit over 5 minutes long. It is in my old house in the classic old orange party room that does not even exist anymore because the dude who owns it now totally gutted the place. Where the German girl told me I was so bohemian before we. Anyway, so let's go back to the show here. So, but one thing about that old show is that I mentioned Argentina in it quite a few times. And I think if some Argentines were watching it back then and they followed my advice back then, my God, they're happy. Because I said back then, you know, you Argentines should get into this Bitcoin thing now. And I gave some pretty good reasons based on Cristina Fernandez being their dictator at the time. But thank God, thank Hashem, she's gone now. And they don't have to deal with that, but they deal with some other issues down there now. Anyway, shout outs to my Argentines and down to Uruguay also. I talked about Uruguay in that video. All right, enough about my old videos. You could pound that like button and check it out. DLive, always in motion. Always have a backup to your YouTube channel. And go for the DLive as you earn steam that you turn into Bitcoin. So speaking of South America, and Josh Colhout just sent another $1.99. He sent $1.99 before the show. Also, he said, hey, quit picking on Nebraska. Dude, I love Nebraska. My college roommate, one of my college roommates was from Nebraska. A great guy. I'm still in touch with him and stuff. I drove through Nebraska once. I like Nebraska. It's flat, very flat. But actually, as you get closer, as you get west, it goes up. And Sydney, Nebraska. Never forget Sydney, Nebraska. That's where that sporting goods store is there. That everybody. It only used to be there. Now it's all over the world. I can't even think of the name of it now. You know what? Sydney, Nebraska. Shout out to you guys. If anyone. So Josh, I don't know if you're from Nebraska. And yeah, the Cornhuskers. They used to do things the honest way. The college football team. I think they got corrupt. They had Lawrence Phillips, and then they just went downhill from there. Okay, so let's go back to, and don't get it's obsessed with sports. I shouldn't even know anything about Nebraska football. All right, so in other country news, Venezuela, and Josh also said thanks for having a strong hand. He told me in another tweet. So Josh, double thanks for everything that you contribute to the show. Thank you. Venezuela government will now force all banking institutions to disclose IP addresses from people who access their banking info from outside the country. Citizens will now have to notify banks before traveling overseas. Users who don't notify it won't be able to transact. All right. I mean, what's next, Venezuela? All I can say is you better have gotten into Bitcoin a while ago. If you're not in the Bitcoin now in Venezuela, you better. I mean, they're really cracking down on your financial freedom even more. I mean, but this is a lesson to all of South America, though. You know, bunches of your countries have gone through these cycles before. I was just talking about Argentina. Everyone in South America, even in Chile, where I will be from September 20th until November 20th, which Chile is the freest country down there. All of you need to get into Bitcoin, okay? Diversify your financial holdings. Do not diversify your crypto holdings. Diversify your financial holdings. Get into Bitcoin. By the way, Carca de Tome sent $5 in the super chat. He says, I love buy 10 Bitcoin 1. That would have paid off for anyone who listened responsibly. Pound that like button, people. Yes, I did tell people a long time ago to buy 10 Bitcoin. And there's a video from 2015, late 2015, 10 Bitcoin. Yeah, I said that people who own 10 Bitcoin will be elite. And of course, I mean, God, 10 people who own 10 Bitcoin are already quite elite. And now people say it's unaffordable to get 10 Bitcoin. I mean, it'll cost you $70,000 right now. When I said to buy 10 Bitcoin, I said, it costs you $4,000. Go buy 10 Bitcoin. But whatever, people want the glamour videos, man. They care about fancy sets and graphics. So, they were buying ICOs and they were buying 6-tier altcoins, while the tortoises, the long-term thinkers, they were like, Meister's on to something with that 10 Bitcoin thing. And yeah, you better believe I practiced what I freaking preached. Pound that freaking like button. Meister's elite in terms of his holdings. All right. So, Molotov Cocktail says Bitcoin. And he said, again, thank you, Kakra Detome, for your loyal viewership and your donation there. Molotov Cocktail sent $3.99, and he says Bitcoin is greater than US dollar, which is greater than altcoins. The US dollar is better than most altcoins. That's a really interesting question, though. Is the US dollar better than Litecoin in the long run? Is it good? This is an interesting thing I haven't had time to think about. That would have been a great question for Charlie Lee. I thought we had a great conversation, but I'm always looking to improve. That would have been that maybe for next time when he comes on the show. Is Litecoin better than the US dollar? Is Ethereum better than the US dollar? Is Monero better than the US dollar? All the other ones, no, they're not. I don't think they're better than the US dollar. I mean, they're all getting inflated to a certain degree, and they're centralized. Well, some of them aren't inflated. The US dollar has so much behind it. Okay, this is all for another time. All that matters is that Bitcoin is clearly better than the US dollar. My Lord, why did I even start wondering about if altcoins are better than US dollars? We're one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. That's what we care about here. What am I thinking? But it is still an interesting. Is Litecoin better than the US dollar? All right, maybe I'll make a show about that. This is God. I'm thinking on the move here. Okay, so we talk about South America. We thank Josh Kohout. We thanked everybody there. Everyone's giving super chat. I really appreciate that you guys appreciate this. All right. So Vinny Lingham, oh yeah, he's got a tweet out there. He's always trying to stir things up. We need guys like that in the space. I mean, he can, some of the things you can disagree with. Here's his latest. Are you still buying into ICOs? This was a poll, a legitimate poll of his. Now, part of the thing is he's biased toward ICOs. He's had an ICO. He likes ICOs on a certain level. Vinny is an interesting character. I mean, he's got that social justice warrior mixed in there with some, he's a real smart guy, but then he's got kind of almost a statist thing to him, a doom. He kind of he tries to be too doom and tries to be, go against the grain, maybe a little bit too much, too big of a contrarian. So he's got this poll And maybe he's trying to influence with this poll, or maybe he just doesn't give a darn. You see, that's the thing is we need people in the space who don't give a darn. And I'm going to talk about one in a second, okay? But there are no gatekeepers here. There's no one saying, well, Vinny can't be in the space. Vinny can be in the space. So the poll, again, are you still buying into ICOs? 81% said no. Okay, I'm shocked that 19% of the people that watch his feed, I mean, again, he is ICO, again, so he is an ICO fan. Why anyone would buy an ICO now after everything that has gone down? I mean, I guess they're just trying to be the uber contrarian here or something like that. That 19% of the people are still interested in it is disturbing. And again, there's not, most of the people following, a lot of the people following Vinny's Twitter, that would respond to that, they're not going to be low-level 80%ers, just like the guys that came in to gamble and everything like that. There are going to be some thinking people in there. So the 19% are still into it. That seems even high. I mean, maybe I'm giving people too much credit. I mean, to me, the ICO thing has been proven to be so insane that you would give up your Bitcoin for one of these to something that is could completely run away with it, where 90% of them fail, and even more than that. All right, Josh Kohout sends another $1.99. Dude, man, you don't have to send me all this dollars, man. This is nice. I really appreciate it. In 3 years, it will be buy 0.1 BTC videos. Yeah, you're right, dude. That's what Charlie Lee's brother said. What's Charlie Lee's brother's name? The other Lee. He said, in the year 2028, a lot of people would not be able to afford 0.1 Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, there's only going to be only a really elite group of people are going to be able to own just one Bitcoin. And you're probably right, just 0.1 Bitcoin. These are exciting times, man. These are exciting times. This is just the beginning. For all of you who watched my video from 5 years ago, again, it's from December 2013, you're going to be, oh, Adam, it was so early then. Oh, you're just lucky. I give up. I'm going to just sit in a basement somewhere. No, it was earlier then, obviously. It was 5 years. A lot happened in the last 5 years in my life and everyone's life. But it's still early now. It's still early now. So let that video be an inspiration. Let that video be an inspiration. Okay, so again, follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt, Bitcoin Meister on Steemit, disruptmeister.com. It was my website with all my old videos, but linked to below again is that original video from when I started doing these videos in an orange room in a cold row house in Baltimore. All right, so Matt Odell has a tweet out there that clarifies something, just in case you hear people mention this. Yahoo simply enabled a front-end interface here for your brokerage account. You still need to have a Coinbase/Robinhood account to trade Bitcoin. Yahoo just lets you do it directly from their interface now. Not sure why you would. Looks like it's enabled for regular equities too. So a lot of people, I think there was a rumor today that Yahoo now allows you to buy cryptocurrencies from their site or Bitcoin. That's not true. It's just an interface that lets you get onto Coinbase or Robinhood, and you can get onto like E-Trade to trade traditional financial instruments too. So it looks real nice, and you know what? Hey, if you're a long-term thinker, one day you will be able to buy directly from Yahoo. Or maybe one day the Litecoin Foundation will buy Yahoo. Pound that freaking like button. Look how I tied in those Silicon Valley entities together. I think Yahoo was founded in Sunnyvale, am I correct? And I guess Charlie Lee is in Palo Alto. And then the Litecoin Summit will be in South San Francisco. Check out yesterday's show if you care about that kind of stuff. Oh, all right. What else do we have here? Yeah, I know Silicon Valley. I know Palo Alto, Mountain View, Sunnyvale. I know a lot of things. You'd be surprised all these things that fill this head in here. All right. So I'm a geography guy. So tomorrow morning, this is from Whale Panda. And this goes back to, Venture MGTOW sent $5. He was talking about centralized Ripple. Well, let's talk about another centralized coin, which is not better than the dollar. I will tell you, this is not better than the dollar, this coin. I doubt. Well, in many ways, it's not better. Who knows how it will end? So tomorrow morning, there will be a minor meeting in Bangkok to decide the future of Bcash with King of the Trolls, Rocketman, Wu, and Calvin. Gotta love those decentralized communities. It's funny that Bcash is even more centralized than EOS, for example. All right, Whale Panda laying the smackdown on the Bcash. I still say that the Bcash is going to fork on November the 15th, and its price is going to go up. And I'm a contrarian on the, I guess, the short-term future of Bcash. Long-term, dude, I don't. It's centralized, man. And one day, Bitmain is going to have to get rid of its 1 million Bcash and Craig caches and what other caches spawn from it. So, speaking about forks, we're going to talk a little bit more forks, but we're going to talk about a guy that a lot of people dislike out there in this space, and a guy who just speaks his mind, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks. So love him or hate him, he represents that there are no gatekeepers in this space. We need to have people like this in the space, the person I'm about to quote. He is not about appearances here, because the minute he typed out this tweet, he had to know that he was going to get bad feedback, that it was going to look bad, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And I don't think he's trying to troll either. But there's a difference between trolling and just not, having opinions and giving them out and not caring and just proving once and that there are no gatekeepers in Bitcoin. Anyone can do what they want to do. This one's from Rhett Creighton, everyone. Bitcoin forks are an attack on Bitcoin. They have all failed. They have all failed miserably. So this is coming from the guy who's come up with some Bitcoin forks. And now he's saying they've all failed miserably. He's saying projects he's been involved with have failed miserably. He was promoting Bcash at one time, and he's saying that it's failed miserably. And he's mostly talking about Bcash in this, okay? Now, I don't agree with all forks being attacks on Bitcoin. There's some people, J.W. Weatherman would say that. J.W. Weatherman thinks everything's an attack on Bitcoin. That's a little bit different than Bitcoin. But I think he thinks Mimblewimble is too, right? Does he? But does it? J.W. Weatherman's great. J.W. Weatherman's great. He's been on the show before. I love him. But I will say this: the unfriendly forks that people feared, like Bcash, have failed miserably. They have failed miserably. And it is just a lesson. Once you calm down after reading that this was from Rhett, and you think about it, you just know that whatever type of attack comes at Bitcoin, whether you consider it an attack or it's not an attack or it really is a horrible attack from a unfriendly fork, they fail. They all fail. And Bitcoin becomes stronger after every, and we're looking back now, and a lot of people are like laughing at Bcash and stuff. But people don't remember a year ago, a little bit over a year ago, people were scared out of their minds. We're talking about Vinny Lingham before. A year and a half ago, when he appeared on my This Week in Bitcoin show and started talking about the possibilities of a Bitcoin fork and everything that was going down in China, possibly, and this, that, and the other, everyone was freaked out. It just shows you that, no matter how scared you might be about a supposed attack, in the long run, they fail. They really do fail. And Bitcoin just becomes stronger. And who cares about the failure side of things? Don't obsess over what has failed. Relish what has succeeded. Enjoy what has succeeded. And look forward to it succeeding even more. And that is Bitcoin. So on that same thought pattern we're talking about forks, the great Arjun, who has also been on the show before, says, and this is an intriguing comment, once a protocol hard forks, the propensity for future forks on the minority chain goes up. People pushing hard forks are often short-sighted and egotistical, steering a group away from consensus, latching onto their intransigence over what could be successful. And I think that describes some of the players behind Bcash. And we're entering a very interesting period in terms of Bcash, an evolutionary period. Is it once a protocol hard forks, the propensity for future hard forks on the minority chain goes up. Bcash was a minority chain. It hard forked. It was clearly the minority chain. It is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. So now it is the likelihood that it is going to hard fork. It looks like it is very likely. It looks like it is very likely. You know, originally back in November of last year, no one would have said, oh yes, Bcash is going to split into 2, into 3 a year from now. Again, it was November 10th, 11th, and 12th. I remember it so well that Bcash was worth at one point 40% of a Bitcoin. And now a year after that, it might split into 2 or 3 different Bcashes. What a difference a year makes. And these are the consequences. You know, we're learning as we go here. I say everything's cyclical, but some things haven't happened yet. We had not seen a fork like that. That was the first major crypto dividend there. And it was the first really unfriendly fork. We're seeing how it evolves now. We're learning as we go. And it looks like when you're the minority fork, if you were founded that way, it's a high likelihood you're going to go that way again. You yourself are going to split off some more. So again, within a year, we've gone from it being everyone November the 12th of last year, people were scared that it was going to take over. I mean, there were all these weak hands. I couldn't believe the weak hands out there. I had Simon Dixon was on the show. I think it was November 12th. I was in Israel. So check out that link below. It was a great show. He reassures everyone, of course. I didn't need reassurance. I got the strongest hand in the freaking world. But no, so from November 12th of last year to November 15th of this year, what a difference. What a difference. And we still don't know what's going to really happen on November 15th. So again, Molotov Cocktail sends $1.99 in the super chat. And he says, hold. And he sends me a message in Hebrew, which says, Nahayaya Misraim Ba'od Kamo Shanim. I'm butchering it, man. I know what Mitzrayim is. Is that Mitzrayim? All right. No one cares about Adam butchering Hebrew there. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt, but Molotov Cocktail. I love Israel, of course, and I hope to return very soon. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the link section below. Pound that like button. I will see you guys in the chat right now. Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.